Wrong grass color? Fine. Basketball hoop visible from the street? Fine. Your trash can placed 20 centimeters too far? Fine. Welcome to the United States and these 100 insane facts. Let's go. In the state of Arizona, it is officially illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. This strange law was passed in the 1920s after a rancher's donkey regularly napped in an old bathtub on his property. When a flood hit the area, the tub, with the donkey inside, was swept miles downstream, triggering a dramatic rescue operation involving local police and firefighters. The ordeal was so chaotic that lawmakers decided to ban the practice entirely. In Florida, it is illegal to sing in a public place while wearing a swimsuit. The law is rarely enforced today, but it originated from the early 20th century when cities tried to maintain moral behavior on beaches. Local officials believed singing while in swimwear was too suggestive and might attract inappropriate attention. In Alabama, it is against the law to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter. This oddly specific law reflects a time when church services were considered sacred and any form of distraction, especially humorous ones, was seen as deeply disrespectful. In Texas, it is illegal to sell your own eye. The law is meant to prevent black market organ trafficking, but its wording has led to countless jokes and confusion over whether it applies to glass or prosthetic eyes too. In Indiana, it was once illegal to catch a fish with your bare hands. The law targeted noodling, a method where people reach into muddy holes to grab catfish. Lawmakers saw it as too dangerous and possibly unfair to the fish. In Georgia, it is illegal to keep an ice cream cone in your back pocket on Sundays. This strange law was created to prevent horse theft, as thieves would lure horses away by hiding cones in their pockets, since technically they weren't holding food. In California, it is illegal for animals to mate within 1,500 feet of a school, church, or tavern. Though rarely enforced, the law was created to prevent public indecency in urban areas and became a source of many jokes in courtrooms and newspapers. In Oklahoma, it is illegal to eavesdrop or secretly listen to someone's conversation, even if you are on the same phone line. This law originated when party phone lines were common and people would silently listen to neighbors' calls. In Connecticut, a pickle is not legally a pickle unless it bounces. This law was passed after a scandal in the 1940s where vendors tried to sell rotten pickles. Officials decided the bounce test was the best way to prove freshness. In Minnesota, it is illegal to cross state borders with a duck atop your head. Though it may sound like a joke, the law was meant to discourage strange behavior that could distract drivers or cause public disturbances. In Missouri, it's illegal to drive with an uncaged bear in your car. This law may seem ridiculous, but it was introduced after multiple incidents in the early 1900s when circus animals were transported without proper restraints, causing panic during traffic stops. In North Carolina, bingo games may not last more than 5 hours. This law was enacted to prevent excessive gambling at charity events, especially in small towns where bingo marathons once went on for over 12 hours straight. You're about to hear one of the strangest laws ever written. In Utah, it is illegal to cause a catastrophe, literally. State law defines catastrophe as any man-made disaster involving weapons of mass destruction or widespread panic. Oddly enough, the same law applies to spreading hoaxes that could cause mass hysteria. In Illinois, it's illegal to give a lit cigar to a domestic pet. This outdated law was designed to protect animals from abuse, but its oddly specific wording has made it a frequent source of online humor and memes. In New Jersey, It's against the law to slurp your soup in public. This obscure law originated from early 1900s etiquette norms and was part of a citywide campaign to promote civilized table manners among immigrants. In South Dakota, it is illegal to fall asleep in a cheese factory. The law was created due to safety concerns, as sleeping workers could interfere with delicate fermentation processes or suffer from chemical exposure. In Washington state, it is illegal to harass Bigfoot or any other undiscovered species. This unique law, passed in 1969, was partly serious and partly a tourism gimmick to capitalize on local Sasquatch legends. In Kentucky, it is illegal to dye a duckling blue and offer it for sale unless you sell at least 6 of them at once. This law was enacted to prevent impulse pet purchases around Easter that often led to animal neglect. In Nevada, it's illegal to drive a camel on the highway. This law originated during the 19th century Camel Corps experiment in the American Southwest, when camels were briefly used for transport and occasionally wandered onto roads. In Rhode Island, it's illegal to bite off someone else's limb. While that seems obvious, the state decided to list it separately from general assault laws, perhaps as a gruesome reminder of historical brawls or bizarre crimes. In California, it's illegal for a woman to drive while wearing a housecoat. This bizarre law dates back to the mid-20th century, when local authorities believed that informal clothing behind the wheel could pose a safety distraction or reflect poor moral standards. In Alabama, it's illegal to drive while blindfolded. Although this may sound like common sense, the law was officially added to the books after a series of reckless driving stunts in the 1950s, including one prank involving a blindfold and a highway. In Massachusetts, it's illegal to drive with a gorilla in the back seat. This law was introduced to prevent exotic pet owners from transporting large animals without safety measures, as incidents involving escaped animals had become a concern. I swear, I'm not making this up. In Ohio, it is illegal to run out of gas on the highway. The law was designed to reduce traffic congestion and prevent accidents caused by stalled vehicles, especially on busy interstates. In New York, honking your horn unnecessarily is considered a punishable offense. The law aims to reduce noise pollution in densely populated urban areas where constant honking can become a serious disturbance. In South Carolina, it is illegal to drive a vehicle with an unrestrained load of trash. This includes loosely packed items in pickup trucks, which can lead to road hazards and environmental damage if blown off. In Pennsylvania, a driver on a country road at night must stop every mile, set off a signal, and wait 10 minutes for any livestock to clear the way, according to an old law that's technically still on the books. In Montana, it is illegal to leave sheep unattended in a truck. The law was designed to protect livestock welfare during transport, especially in cold climates where animals could suffer without proper supervision. In Nevada, camels are prohibited from walking on highways. The law originated during the 1800s when camels were used in transport experiments in the Southwest, and wandering animals on roads became a danger to stagecoaches. In Tennessee, it's illegal to shoot any game animal from a moving vehicle, except whales. The inclusion of whales, though Tennessee is landlocked, is often cited as one of the most nonsensical exceptions in American law. In Texas, there is a school where students can ride horses to class, and it's completely normal. In some rural areas, horseback riding is still a practical form of transportation, and schools provide hitching posts instead of parking lots. In California, students are legally allowed to take mental health days off from school. The law treats mental wellness as important as physical health, allowing students to rest and recover without academic penalty.
Some American schools ban red ink for grading papers, believing it causes anxiety and low self-esteem in students. Teachers are encouraged to use softer colors like purple or green to give feedback more positively. In Virginia, a student once faced suspension for using a Lego toy gun during recess. Many U.S. schools have zero-tolerance policies regarding anything resembling a weapon, even if it's plastic and only a few centimeters long. In Oregon, public schools are required to provide menstrual products in all bathrooms, including boys' restrooms, to promote inclusivity for transgender and non-binary students. Some schools in the U.S. ban tag, snowball fights, and even running during recess, citing safety concerns and liability issues. Critics argue that such restrictions remove essential physical activity and natural social play. There are schools in America where students take part in archery, trap shooting, or hunting safety as official subjects. These classes are especially popular in rural states and are often part of wildlife conservation programs. In Colorado, some high schools offer Senior Ditch Day as an unofficial tradition where graduating students skip class as a rite of passage. Schools usually don't punish it unless it becomes disruptive. In New York City, public school students can request halal, kosher, or vegetarian lunches to meet religious and dietary needs. Some schools even have fully meatless menus to promote sustainability. U.S. schools often hold prom, a formal dance for high school seniors. These events are so culturally significant that students spend months planning outfits, rides, and even dramatic promposals to ask someone to go with them. In New York City, it was once illegal to sell sugary drinks larger than 16 ounces. The soda ban, proposed in 2012, aimed to combat obesity by restricting portion sizes. Though later overturned, it sparked national debate about government control over personal choices. In some U.S. states, it is illegal to sell raw milk due to health concerns, while in others, it's a prized farmers market product. The FDA warns about bacterial risks, but supporters claim raw milk is more natural and nutritious. You think that was strange? What's this? There's a town in Illinois where it is illegal to eat ice cream with a fork. This law, likely created as a joke or local tradition, still technically exists and is often cited as one of the most unusual food regulations in the country. In California, foie gras was banned for several years due to animal cruelty concerns. The delicacy, made from the liver of force-fed ducks, sparked a legal and ethical battle between animal rights activists and gourmet chefs. Americans consume more peanut butter than any other country, over 700 million pounds annually. In fact, peanut butter is so embedded in American culture that it was included in World War II military rations. In Alaska, it is illegal to give alcoholic beverages to a moose. This law was created after locals purportedly tried to get moose drunk for entertainment, leading to dangerous encounters and public disturbances. Ketchup is banned as a default condiment in some French-style schools in the U.S. The goal is to preserve culinary traditions and encourage students to enjoy food as intended by the chef, without drowning it in tomato sauce. The U.S. has entire towns famous for one food, like Gilroy, California, known as the garlic capital, and Hatch, New Mexico, celebrated for chili peppers. These towns host annual food festivals that attract tens of thousands of visitors. In parts of the U.S., deep-fried butter is served at state fairs. This indulgent snack involves freezing butter, dipping it in batter, and frying it until golden. It's widely criticized for health reasons, but remains a novelty hit. McDonald's once released bubblegum-flavored broccoli in an attempt to promote healthy eating to kids. The experiment failed because children found the flavor confusing and the product never reached the market.
The United States has more military bases in foreign countries than any other nation in history, over 750 in more than 80 countries. This global presence is often seen as a tool of both strategic defense and geopolitical influence. The American national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, is based on a poem written during the War of 1812. Despite its patriotic power, the song covers 4 verses, though only the first is usually sung. The Pentagon is the world's largest office building, with over 17 miles of corridors. Despite its massive size, it's designed so that anyone can walk between any 2 points in under 7 minutes. In the US, it's considered disrespectful to let the national flag touch the ground. According to official flag code, damaged flags must be disposed of by burning them in a dignified ceremony. The U.S. military is one of the world's largest employers, with over 1.3 million active duty personnel and millions more in reserves and civilian support roles. Veterans Day in the U.S. is celebrated on November 11, the same day World War I ended. Unlike Memorial Day, which honors fallen soldiers, Veterans Day celebrates all who served. Some U.S. military bases are as large as small cities, with schools, supermarkets, movie theaters, and even churches, designed to support families and community life for personnel stationed far from home. The U.S. flag has been changed 27 times since 1777, mostly to add stars for new states. The current 50-star version is the longest used in history, adopted in 1960 after Hawaii joined the Union. U.S. soldiers once used playing cards during World War II to help escape from Nazi POW camps. Special decks were printed that, when soaked and peeled, revealed hidden maps of escape routes. The U.S. military budget is the largest in the world, more than the next 10 countries combined. It funds not only defense, but also research in AI, space tech, medicine, and cybersecurity. The U.S. celebrates over 10 national holidays, but none require mandatory time off by federal law. It's up to individual employers to grant days off, even on the 4th of July or Thanksgiving. Halloween is the second most commercially successful holiday in the U.S. after Christmas. Americans spend over $10 billion annually on costumes, candy, and decorations, more than many countries spend on their entire cultural budget. Americans eat more than 1.4 billion chicken wings during the Super Bowl weekend. This unofficial food holiday has become a cultural event where commercials, snacks, and football all take center stage. Get ready for a law that feels like your neighbor wrote it. In some U.S. towns, Christmas decorations are legally required to be removed by a certain date. Failure to comply can result in fines, despite the fact that some neighborhoods enjoy leaving lights up all year. Thanksgiving is often called Turkey Day, and over 45 million turkeys are eaten that day alone. The president also pardons one lucky turkey annually in a televised ceremony dating back to the 1940s. Independence Day, July 4, is celebrated with fireworks, parades, and barbecues. But technically, the U.S. declared independence on July 2, 1776. The 4th was chosen later because it's the date on the printed declaration. Groundhog Day, celebrated on February 2nd, is based on the idea that a groundhog shadow can predict the weather. While it's a lighthearted tradition, the most famous groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, has a nationwide following. Valentine's Day is so popular in the U.S. that more than 145 million greeting cards are exchanged, not including those handmade by children. The holiday drives massive sales in flowers, chocolate, and jewelry every February. Many Americans celebrate Friendsgiving, a spin-off of Thanksgiving where friends gather for a casual feast. It often happens a few days before or after the official holiday and is especially popular among young adults.
In some states, it's illegal to sell alcohol on certain holidays, such as Christmas or Easter. These so-called blue laws are based on historical religious norms and still affect how stores operate today.
In many American suburbs, mailboxes are mandatory and must meet federal standards. The USPS even specifies the height, distance from the curb, and design. Failure to comply can result in undelivered mail.
This next fact makes living in some neighborhoods a horror movie.
Some U.S. cities have entire neighborhoods managed by HOAs, homeowners associations, which can fine residents for grass being too tall, wrong house paint color, or even having a basketball hoop in view.
Many American homes have garbage disposals installed under kitchen sinks, devices that grind food waste and send it down the drain. Though common in the U.S., they are banned or rare in much of Europe. Most U.S. bathrooms have built-in fans instead of windows for ventilation. This design choice helps control humidity and mold in homes with central air systems, especially in tightly built suburban housing.
In the U.S., electrical outlets have no on-off switch, unlike in many other countries. This design assumes constant safety, though some experts argue that built-in switches would reduce fire risks. Some American cities are designed almost entirely around cars, with few sidewalks or bike lanes. This car-first urban planning has led to high car ownership rates and limited public transport in many areas.
American tap water is generally safe to drink and heavily regulated. However, in some places like Flint, Michigan, contaminated water has caused public health crises, leading to nationwide scrutiny of infrastructure.
U.S. homes are often built from wood, not concrete or brick, even in regions with hurricanes or tornadoes. The reasons include cost, speed of construction, and insurance coverage, not necessarily durability.
In many states, electricity and gas are billed monthly, but water and trash collection might be quarterly or even annually, leading to big surprise bills for newcomers unfamiliar with the system. Some states legally require new homes to include a storm shelter if built in tornado-prone areas. These shelters can be underground or reinforced closets and are now seen as essential in places like Oklahoma and Kansas. In the U.S., a person can legally sue anyone for almost anything, even if the case seems absurd. While most frivolous lawsuits are dismissed quickly, some have resulted in massive settlements or influenced public policy.
Jury duty is mandatory for most U.S. citizens. People are randomly selected and can face fines or legal consequences if they fail to appear, although many try to get excused through creative excuses.
In some states, unpaid parking tickets can prevent you from renewing your driver's license or even registering your car. This policy encourages compliance, but has been criticized for disproportionately affecting low-income drivers.
The IRS, America's tax agency, collects over $4 trillion annually, but the tax code runs over 70,000 pages long. Most Americans rely on tax software or paid preparers to file correctly. In many U.S. courts, you can bring a support animal, like a small dog, for comfort during stressful legal proceedings. These animals help witnesses, victims, and even jurors manage anxiety. Some towns in the U.S. elect unique officials like dog mayors or goat governors for charity or tradition. These symbolic titles are often used to raise funds or unite communities in quirky local pride.
This fact shows the real problems behind the U.S. justice system.
The Miranda warning, "You have the right to remain silent," must be read by police during arrests. If skipped, any confession may be deemed invalid in court, regardless of guilt.
Some U.S. states still use bail bond systems where people must pay large sums to avoid jail before trial. Critics argue this creates inequality as wealthier suspects walk free while others remain detained. Certain crimes in the U.S., like tax evasion or wire fraud, can lead to longer prison sentences than some violent offenses. This reflects the country's strong emphasis on economic and financial law. Many court cases in the U.S. are resolved through plea bargains rather than trials. Over 90% of criminal cases end this way, where defendants plead guilty in exchange for reduced sentences. Baseball is considered America's pastime, but it originated from older British games like rounders. Today, Major League Baseball generates billions annually and is woven into the cultural fabric of the country. The United States produces more waste per capita than any other country, about 2 kilograms per person per day. Recycling rates vary drastically by state, leading to ongoing debates about environmental responsibility. The Hollywood sign in Los Angeles originally read Hollywood Land and was meant to promote a real estate development. Over time, it became an iconic symbol of the film industry.
The U.S. has no official language at the federal level. While English is dominant, there are regions where Spanish, Hawaiian, Navajo, and other languages are recognized locally.
The Library of Congress is the largest library in the world, housing over 170 million items. It includes everything from ancient manuscripts to modern video games and tweets. Silicon Valley, located in California, is home to many of the world's leading tech companies, including Apple, Google, and Meta. It began as a center for military electronics and evolved into a global innovation hub. Americans collectively spend over $100 billion a year on pets. This includes not only food and vet care, but also spa days, costumes, and even pet psychics. Alaska is so vast that some of its towns are only accessible by plane or boat. It has more coastline than all other U.S. states combined and is home to massive untouched wilderness areas. And now, something perfectly American. The average American home has more TVs than people. According to surveys, many households have screens in multiple rooms, including bathrooms and garages. The U.S. invented the internet, GPS, and the first successful airplane, and continues to lead in patents and scientific research. Despite contradictions, innovation remains one of its strongest national identities. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. Check out my other videos. There are even more facts that will blow your mind.